What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, it looks like it's really happening. EA's exclusive rights to create brand new big Star Wars games is coming to an end. So much so now that the other publishers and developers aren't wasting any time, as we had a big announcement from Ubisoft where they will be collaborating with Lucasfilm Games to make their own big open world Star Wars game. So exciting stuff here for Star Wars fans. We're going to go over all of this here today. Also, we're going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077 once again, because CD Projekt did put out a response video to everything that's happened with the disastrous launch, a big Q&A, and then also a roadmap, and somehow Cyberpunk 2077 was technically delayed again. Oh, and we did have the Pokemon 25th anniversary website launch, and yeah, looks like it's gonna be a pretty big celebration. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below, and we're gonna start today with another collaboration that Lucasfilm Games is doing, that being with Indiana Jones, Bethesda, and Machine Games. And it looked like Todd Howard was so excited about this that apparently he even teased this somewhat before any of this stuff was announced. You can go over here to this tweet from Malik saying, continuing the trend of hidden Easter eggs of big announcements, Todd Howard was visibly displaying Indiana Jones artifacts in his discussion with Xbox around the time the acquisition was announced. And I mean, you can see here during that Zoom call that he had with Phil Spencer and Major Nelson, that's where they even talked about how they were able to dump the RAM in Morrowind by resetting the Xbox without actually telling the player it was resetting. You could see some of the artifacts behind him on the shelf, and it was pointed out on Reddit by some people that he's actually had those since as far back as 2015, but I mean, they're right there in the shot. It seems like, yeah, he may have set those up on the bookshelf behind him because he already knew that they were collaborating and starting talks around an Indiana Jones game that was going to be announced here now in 2021. But yeah, exciting stuff there. And we've seen Phil Spencer do this with the Xbox Series S in the background, where that was just sitting on a bookshelf during his own Zoom call. So this isn't necessarily a new idea. It's just a fun way, I guess, to have an Easter egg to go back and point to after the announcement does happen. Also, just in case you forgot, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, is out today, and it's out on everything. I mean, it's even out in Stadia. So Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Stadia, PC, it's everywhere. Go check it out. I really am enjoying this game. Ubisoft sent it over a little early for me to try out, and I've been playing through it, and yeah, it reminds me very much of the exact same game I played on the 360 and the PlayStation 3 back in the day, but that's not a bad thing. It's a very fun beat-em-up style game that you can play with your friends. It does have local co-op, but I understand, especially the situation now in the world, that a lot of people would prefer to play online. It does also have network play, all the DLC, everything. It is a really fun game, and it looks great even on like bigger displays, and the music is fantastic. So I think it's worth picking up. Definitely recommend it. If we go over here to Metacritic, they have it up at a 79 currently. You know what, for a beat 'em up style game, like I said, that came out a while ago now during the Xbox 360 and the PS3 era, that's, I think, about right for the current times, but pretty cool to see there. Obviously, you're probably, if you've been watching this channel, you're probably up to date on this, but go check it out if you forgot. Oh, and you remember last year we had that really big Harry Potter game being done by Avalanche, and people got really excited about seeing this. Is called Hogwarts Legacy. Well, it looks like it's not going to be coming out in 2021, I guess, as originally planned. We can go over here to Twitter where this message was put out. We would like to thank fans from around the world on the tremendous reaction to the announcement of Hogwarts Legacy from our Portkey Games label. Creating the best possible experience for all the wizarding world and gaming fans is paramount to us, so we are giving the game the time it needs. Hogwarts Legacy will be released in 2022. The interesting thing about this situation is Hogwarts Legacy, it was supposed to be coming out this year, 2021, as we originally thought, but it was going to be coming out on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. If it is, as they say, pushed to 2022, is that like early 2022 or is that late 2022? Because then you're really going to be on like the back end of these consoles' life. And is this a game that just gets pushed too far that they decide that it's not worth releasing a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One version of the game? Because we just saw what happened with Cyberpunk. So like, I think a lot of people right now are more forgiving than ever when it comes to delays and just trying to make sure the game doesn't release as like a broken mess that we've seen with Cyberpunk for a lot of people. But then it comes back to the question of the last generation systems in possibly late 2022. So something to think about there as we head into next year. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with EA and Star Wars, because this is something we've talked about a couple of times, especially since it's been in the news quite a bit with something like Battlefront 2, where that hit mainstream news, and Disney's name was all over the place with gambling, and that probably wasn't a lot of fun for them. But I also think EA's output with Star Wars games for over the last 8 years now hasn't been great. I feel like Disney was expecting more from this deal overall. Sure, Disney wasn't as interested in doing just overall video game stuff with multiple companies and studios, and they definitely don't want to create their own games. It was probably easier for them at the time in 2013 to sign some paperwork and just deal with EA, and then they'll deal with their own studios for who's making what. But now, seems the times are changing after we saw that announcement for Indiana Jones. Now it looks like Ubisoft will be making their own Star Wars game. We can go to this tweet here, where they say, "We are excited to announce we are working with Lucasfilm Games to develop a brand new story-driven open-world Star Wars adventure." And apparently this is gonna be with massive studios, and they were the ones creating Division and Division 2. Now, in a quote from Sean Shoptaw from Disney, said, "EA has been and will continue to be a very strategic and important partner for us now and going forward, but we did feel like there's room for others." And this is the biggest thing here with Disney. I feel like they want like Star Wars games every 3 to 4 months, every 5 months. They basically want multiple Star Wars games, big Star Wars games per year. Like, to them, the more the better, as long as they're not like just outright junk. If they can continue to license out Star Wars games left and right to really any qualified studio that can make one and deliver it in a timely fashion, that's probably what they're going to do. And I'm sure they're going to explore the market for different ideas, maybe things outside of EA's wheelhouse. I mean, they could go off and do an entire RPG or something for Star Wars, something that EA maybe wouldn't have been as interested in because we've all been sitting around waiting for KOTOR 3. You know what? Now it's actually possible. Now, Douglas Riley, VP of Lucasfilm Games, said, "We're looking to work with the best in-class teams that can make great games across all of our IP. We've got a team of professionals here at Lucasfilm Games who can work with the developers, shape the stories, shape the creative, shape the games to make them really resonate with fans and deliver across a breadth of platforms, genres, and experiences so that all of our fans can enjoy the IPs that they know and love." Now, in relation to EA, they said, "We will continue working with them and our relationship has never been stronger. While we may not have a lot of details to share at the moment, we've got a number of projects underway with the talented teams at EA." So look, there's still going to be Star Wars games coming from EA, and that's fine because it just means more Star Wars games. But remember, if you have Ubisoft making a Star Wars game, and who knows, maybe Take-Two's like, "Hey, well, we want to make a Star Wars game," and it just really continues on. Square could jump in and want to try it too. All of a sudden, you have competition with Star Wars between all of these different developers, and that's the biggest thing there, because once EA locked down that licensing, the competition outside of EA kind of went away. I mean, who knows? We could see any company come in here now and make the best Star Wars game and maybe then push EA to do better and push Ubisoft to do better. There's a lot of possibilities here now with the Star Wars universe and a massive universe of lore. That is really, really exciting. We see like a new pod racer game that really dives into the idea of like even building up, creating a whole pod racing league and all of this. Like, there's tons of different ideas that we could get here. Maybe we could get a whole new Rogue Squadron game. That's what Nintendo should do. They should go to like Disney and see if they can create a single player Rogue Squadron style game. Maybe they even get Factor 5 back involved. I don't know how all of that would work, but like you kind of see what I mean. Now you come up with all kinds of ideas for different Star Wars games. So yeah, let me know your best idea down below for who should make a Star Wars game and what kind of Star Wars game it would be. Also, while there are no details here as to when we're gonna see like another company make a Star Wars game, because we just have Ubisoft announcing initial plans for it, it appears 2023 is when EA's deal is up, as it was a 10-year deal that was signed in 2013. So a lot of the games you're going to hear about for Star Wars now are probably still several years off. Next up, let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt, as they released about a 5-minute video just trying to explain the situation as to what happened at launch with this game. Specifically, it seems they were mostly talking about last generation versions of the games, which is technically the current generation version of the game because the PS5 and the Xbox Series X upgrades aren't out yet. More on that in a little bit here, but we can go over here on Twitter where they say, "Dear gamers, below you'll find CD Projekt's co-founder's personal explanation of what the days leading up to the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 looked like, sharing the studio's perspective on what happened with the game on old generation consoles." And there really wasn't a lot of new information here, to be honest. They kind of just went over everything. They said, okay, the PC version was pretty good. There were bugs and all this. And then, yeah, the last generation versions of the game, not great, but we're going to work through that. We did think the original patch that we put out on launch day would have fixed it. They also talked about like review codes that went out. I got mine on launch day. Like they sent it as soon as it released. I think in New Zealand, it popped up in the inbox. The other part that they kind of sidestepped was the idea of having to use their own footage when the PC reviews went out. But then look at this over on their Q&A. It gets a bit stranger, where they say, or the question was, didn't you test old gen consoles to keep tabs on the experience? They said, we did. As it turned out, our testing did not show many of the issues you experienced while playing the game. As we got closer to launch, we saw significant improvements each and every day, and we really believe we deliver in the final day zero update. Okay, so I have to know, how was it running then initially on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4? Because we've seen how they run now after launch with that day one or day zero patch being applied. It's still not very good. Like if you walk out into like the world on the Xbox One, some people just don't have faces because the assets don't load in, the resolution's really low. You get in the car, it's like 13, 14 frames per second. It's very, very bad. Digital Foundry went over all of that. I can't imagine they did not see any of that in their testing with how blatant it was. Anyway, then they also showed us this roadmap here in their patented yellow background, and we could see a couple of things that have been completed. Hotfix 104, 105, 106, all highlighted in green. Then we get into 2021, where we have patch 1.1 and patch 1.2, both of which have already been described as very large updates that should mostly fix last generation versions of the games and of course bugs across all platforms there. Then they have free DLCs that will be seemingly happening outside of the originally planned early 2021 release. So I guess there's a bit of a delay on the free DLC. And then we get to the end of 2021 where they appear to have free next-gen console updates targeted. And I said before, as soon as they tell us when the next-gen upgrades are coming out, that's probably when the game should have launched. And yeah, honestly, this game should have come out in like holiday of 2021. I think it's pretty obvious. They're showing us a roadmap to where we get to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X versions of the game, which is apparently the system they want you to play it on, where you'll get a good experience, not on the systems that they technically released it for, that being the PS4 and the Xbox One, because the PS5 and the Series X version isn't out yet. So yeah, it probably should have come out in like November of 2021, not, last year. So yes, effectively the free DLC was delayed outside of early 2021, and they had mentioned trying to get next-gen patches out earlier in 2021 as well, and that seems to be falling to the back end, the back half of 2021. So yeah, not great, but I guess they have a roadmap now, and we just gotta wait, I don't know, another 8 to 9 months before the PS5 and the Series X version comes out. And I am wondering how many people are really still going to be playing Cyberpunk by then, because I already see a lot of people kind of dropping it now, waiting for any bugs and stuff to get patched out. But I kind of feel like people are just going to forget about it by then, unless they really do have some big time DLC or that multiplayer really catches on in like 4 years. Next up, let's talk about the Pokemon 25th anniversary. The website has now launched, and alongside of it, they did put out this video here that just, it just hits you right in the nostalgia bone. Immediately, you see the Game Boy screen that zooms out, and you see a Pokeball running all over the place with different scenes and parts of the Pokemon timeline leading up to the 25th anniversary, and it is a good video. I liked it quite a bit. And then we do have their website that launched, and throughout that video, we saw a lot of different things that they're probably going to be leaning into with merchandise, of course, tons of merchandise. But then they also say Pokemon is teaming up with some of the biggest names in music, including pop icon Katy Perry, and you're invited to join the fun. They also say each month we'll revisit the many regions in the world of Pokemon. The adventure kicks off in March with the Galar region. And if we go over here to Twitter, they say, gotta love that new booster pack feeling. Hope your binders are ready for the special 25th anniversary themed collections coming to the Pokemon TCG this year trainers. And you can see some of the classic Pokemon cards, it looks like, down there. Can't wait to pay twice the amount that you normally would for those on eBay. But yes, it looks like they're planning quite the celebration here. And again, all of this stuff was about things separate from the different video games that will be coming out this year. We know about Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Unite still needs to be talked about some, and I mean, come on, most people understand that there is probably going to be a big remake announced that we all assume is going to be Diamond and Pearl, and the question now is, when will all of this happen? Well, I was thinking it would happen this year with a Pokemon Direct for the games, but a lot of people are also starting to talk about rumors around something in February. Honestly, it's just, there's going to be a Pokemon Direct, I would say, in the next, 6 to 7 weeks, basically before the end of February. I'm sure we'll have a full roadmap for all the different Pokemon games coming out this year. And I don't even think we know about all of them yet, even outside of those remakes that naturally have not been announced, but have been basically rumored for a while now. I still think there are going to be some other smaller Pokemon titles to come. So exciting stuff here for Pokemon fans. Trust me, the Pokemon Company, Nintendo, Game Freak, they're going to go all out with this 25th anniversary. So exciting stuff for 2021. And our last bit of news, let's go back to Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury very quickly, because we did have some more information come out after the initial 2-minute trailer that they did show, kind of revealing Bowser's Fury, that section of the game and what it was going to be. And the website did launch. Now we had a 7-minute game overview that kind of walked us through some of the other features in Bowser's Fury. But if you go over to the website here, they describe it a bit further, saying Mario is sent to Lake Lapcat, where everything is cat-themed and Bowser has gone berserk. Team up with Bowser Jr. to help his dad chill out in this short but action-packed standalone adventure. And they go on to say, in this free-roaming adventure, you'll travel to various islands in Lake Lapcat to collect cat shrines, to reignite lighthouses, and clear darkened terrain. Watch out for Bowser, though. Now, it does appear this is going to be kind of like a sandbox area that you run around in, and I guess you activate some of the bells and eventually become Super Saiyan Mario and take on Godzilla, Giga Bowser, and his big clash to end it. Standalone tells me you're just going to probably jump into that section of the game, and they did say that, yes, indeed, a second player can take control of Bowser Jr. to help out while you're running through the game, and they say it's going to be kind of a short adventure. I'm thinking a couple of hours, but because it's a free roaming section of the game and not, like, say, as linear as 3D World is, then there'll probably be hidden collectibles, secrets, and other things that will allow you to kind of extend the gameplay itself through that part of the game. I mean, it looks pretty good. It's just extra content on top of what is already a very good game with 3D World, and I already said yesterday that a lot of people didn't play 3D World because, let's face it, a lot of people did not own a Wii U. So here's everyone's shot at trying out 3D World, probably for the first time. I mean, look, we saw New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe come out and do very well, even though it's still New Super Mario Bros. U just on the Switch. So yeah, this is gonna do really, really well just because it's Mario. But hey, so far, I'm thinking Bowser's Fury looks pretty good on its own to pick up, and I'll be running back through 3D World because it's just a really good game. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Speed saying, guessing that this Mario-themed system was going to be out last year for the 35th anniversary, but got COVID-19 delayed. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with this system. It would have made more sense to have that launch during the holidays right next to 3D All-Stars, but I can tell you, a lot of things were messed up with COVID-19 in the background for Nintendo. As an example, 3D World we're coming up on here next month, right? February 12th. That was supposed to have come out last year. Like, that was supposed to have been out in like October, September or something. 3D All-Stars apparently was supposed to have been out even before that came out then. I mean, you can even see the announcement to the release, how fast that was. It was really, really quick. So it seemed to just kind of throw everything off, but it appears now they're getting back on track, and I'm hoping that means that the Zelda anniversary is going to be more spread out through 2021, which will probably kick off after March as we head into like April or May and we start finding out about all kinds of games from Nintendo. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike, leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today, whether there's EA's exclusive rights to making new Star Wars games coming to an end. Again, let me know down below who you wanna see make a Star Wars game and what kind of Star Wars game you want that to be. And then what do you think about Cyberpunk 2077 with this new roadmap? I'm telling you, I think those next gen updates, that's when the game probably should have come out, so like holiday of 2021. And then Pokemon 25, their 25th anniversary. What do you want to see from the celebration? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.